All right. So in today's workshop, what we are going to do is we are going to have first a discussion with some of the couple of senior business analysts which we have invited, and they are going to tell us about their profession and how did they become business analysts. There are certain specific set of questions which we're going to ask them that will be pretty beneficial to you also. Then we'll have a presentation on the career path of a business analyst. What is the opportunity and what are the different certifications available? Then we'll have a slightly different perspective which is specific to agile projects or the Scrum methodology, where product owner is something which is very similar to a business analyst. Okay, how does that role sound and what are the opportunities there? And finally, in the end also, we'll have a Q&A session. We can have Q&A session at the end of each of the subsections as well. So with me, my name is Abhishek Srivastava, and with me we have Dinab Bansal and we have Swapnil Patil. These are both senior business analysts. So I'm just going to have a chit chat with them with some specific questions about the business analyst role and related aspects. Okay. So the first question which I would like to ask them is, I would like to know what is their current job profile? What exactly do they do? So who would like to start, Swapnil or Dinab?
Okay, I can start. If Dinab is willing, he can also start.
Okay, Swapnil, yeah, you can start.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So let's be very specific to this because we will have very short time. So I will just give it in a brief idea. Currently, I'm working as a lead business analyst, and the methodology that we are using is Agile. So as we say, current job profile, it is all about working as a team member, not as a BA, but specifically as a team member in an Agile project. So we have all sort of like requirements, user stories, interacting with team, stakeholder management, and of course you have some sort of testing on the applications, and followed by sprint demos and retrospectives. So this is in a nutshell what I am currently performing, and the current domain which I'm working is insurance domain.
Okay, and typically what is the time you spend in interacting with the customer?
Yeah, basically if you see Agile, it's very short. We don't spend more. So it's basically your grooming calls. So daily I have 2 grooming calls. So it's approximately 45 minutes with the customer in one call and then 30 minutes in another customer. So I have 2 different calls. So it's approximately, you can say 1.5 hours with the customer on a grooming call.
Cool. So just to clarify for everyone, when Swapnil is saying grooming, it means that he's talking about updating the requirements, list of requirements or the repository of requirements where requirements are managed. Okay, that's what is meant by grooming. Okay, so Dinab, thanks for your answer, Swapnil. Dinab, would you like to go next?
Sure. So currently I'm working as a business analyst or a product owner for accounting and taxation domain. And the current profile, as Swapnil mentioned, it's more or less the same. So I am responsible for gathering requirements from different set of clients, converting those particular requirements into user stories, writing backlogs, prioritizing those requirements. And I'm also part of grooming sessions, although we are not having grooming calls every day like Swapnil does, but we are keeping them once a week or twice a week as and when required. So I am also part of a couple of teams, agile teams as a team member, but I'm working in the capacity of a product owner over here.
Okay, good. So let's move on and get to the next question. Did you start as a business analyst or you start later and move on to become a business analyst? How did you start your career and at what point in time did you move in to become a business analyst or a product owner?
Okay, so I started my career as a Java developer, to be very specific, when I passed out from my engineering college. So I started as a Java developer. Working in my current organization, I came across some opportunity where then I started as an entry-level BA. So this is how I started my career as a BA. And the main reason how I participated as an BA was my interest showing with the management or the team members that I'm more eager to interact with customers and I love documentation and functional side. So these were the area that gave me that opportunity to enter into that entry-level BA job.
And at what stage in your career did you move into the entry-level business analyst?
Yeah, it is, I will say, approximately 1.5 years after working as a Java developer. So as after passing my graduation, I worked as a Java developer for 1.5 years. And then I started with the entry-level BE.
Oh, good, good. Dinab, would you like to tell
Yep.
about yourself?
So initially I started off working in a captive center as a technical support expert. So this was so I we used to support customers, troubleshoot the issues for customers, laptops, printers. So basically it was a captive center. Then I got an opportunity with another organization uh, as a business analyst because I completed my MBA in systems management, and the first project I did was comparative analysis and doing gap analysis. So the company actually liked what the work I actually did in terms of comparative analysis, because that was a solution which was based on power management and how we can actually create more greener and effective solutions for different clients. That was the entry level position, entry level, how I got my first break into the field of business analysis. I was never, unlike Swapnil, I was never fond of development, and still can't get my head around developing stuff. I can read code, but when it comes to writing code, I'm not very fond of it. But yes, I am I am a big fan of building client rapport, problem solving, and understanding what actually the client wants. And I think that's the basic passion I have for helping the clients. So that was the flair which did the trick for me.
And what stage did you? I mean, this was about how many years after you started your career?
Uh, about 1.5 years.
So basically, the what you can get from these two gentlemen is that it is not necessary to be an IT professional only to get into business analysis. All right, people from
Yes.
different backgrounds are also coming in. We have various cases where people are coming from travel background, people are coming from banking background, like relationship manager. People are coming from networking companies. People are coming from telecom companies. So business analysis is one kind of a role which can be termed as a gateway to IT industry. Okay, a good entry point for all kinds of professionals. Okay, so moving on, I would request everyone to be on mute. I think. Okay. All right. Okay. So now moving on, the next thing which is very relevant, at least for every new entry into business analyst role, is what are the challenges, right? So business analyst, everybody is now knowing that it's a good role. It has a lot of opportunities, but it's never an easy entry into business analyst role. Okay. So what kind of a challenges did you face? I mean, even when you just started as an entry level business analyst, did you face any challenges?
Yeah, I'd like to share a couple of things because as this profile was new, though I had an eager passion to do this, but it's never like we always see the grass green on the other side, so that looks good. So when I started my BA career, initial few challenges that I faced was, though I am now very pretty good with customer interaction. Initially, I had little bit tough time like negotiating with customer or maybe convincing them for certain things. And second thing I will say is initially when I started as a BA, I used to always look at solution which is at the detail view, rather than looking from a bigger picture and then drilling it down to the smaller one. So these are like 2 or 3 things I have come across, and it's like preparing documentation, very crisp documentation. Initially, I used to prepare like very lengthy documents. Maybe some stuff was not required in that. So these are like 2 or 3 things which I face when I started with a BA. But gradually, I will say, as you enter this field and your experience moves ahead with interacting with your team, it will help you. One advantage that I got was in these initial days, I requested my senior to become a mentor for me. And with help of that person, I got definitely many skills which helped me move ahead in my career.
Good. Thanks,
So,
Swapnil.
as, yep. So as far as I'm concerned, I think I can very clearly remember the challenges which I initially faced, which were more or less towards managing the stakeholders. Because in my first job as a business analyst, I was required to get sign-offs on documentation as well as every milestone the project had from the client, and I think that was really a tough job. After about 4 or 5 months into the organization, I was also responsible for increasing the seeds on a particular project, or increasing the number of resources on the project. Although it was not my job role and responsibility, but it was very tough to actually bring in more revenue from the client. So I think I overcame those particular challenges by building a good relationship with the client. I also, as Swapnil rightly mentioned, that in the beginning, your passion for doing something which you actually like, or like the most, probably creating documentation, or getting to understand the problem of the client, and trying to document stuff which will help the client. I think that particular passion overcomes, and you tend to write a lengthy documentation. But once you progress in your career more, I think having crisp and clear documentation is very, very important for any particular development team, because the documents we create as a business analyst, they get reviewed by a number of people, and it is like sort of a bible for the development team, because they have to build on those particular documents which we create. So it's a very important task which the business analyst also have to do. I think another challenge which I'm currently also facing is the mighty battle which goes on between a developer and a quality analyst, or probably the development team and the client. So the business analyst has to is the bridge between the development team and the clients, and you have to negotiate and try and manage the both sides of the team. I think that's a very tricky task to do, but once you get the hang of it, so you are able to manage things fine. But I think that's about it.
Yeah. Thanks, Dinap. So basically, two things are coming out of it is that there are going to be challenges. In fact, it's not just with the business analyst role. Challenges are everywhere. IT or any industry is pretty challenging. The environment is very competitive. But the good news is that both of these business analysts have stated to you that with effort and with time, you'll be able to overcome all these challenges. And that's the most important part. These are not challenges which you can't overcome. Okay, but you have to be a little alert. You need to keep learning. The learning is one thing which will never stop, no matter what you become. That's an important thing which you need to remember. Okay, so this is the most interesting question as far as I am concerned. What's a typical day in your work life? What do you do on a daily basis?
So to be very quick, as I said, I'm working on an agile project. So typically my day starts with a stand-up meeting, which is just a 15 minutes meeting with the entire team. Everyone gives their update, what they did yesterday, what they're going to do today, and if they have any impediments, that is nothing but the obstacles that you have. So after that meeting, every individual will work on their individual tasks. As part of the BA, I used to daily look at the backlog. Then if you have a current release Now, if it's agile, if some of you are aware, we have sprints. So every release will have at least 2 sprints. So it's like for daily activity, I need to go through the sprint stories, and if there are any clarifications or outstanding questions which are raised, get it sorted within the team. And at the end of the day, I daily have call with customer. So we keep on grooming other stories for your future sprints. So in and about, you have 3 things. One, a meeting with the team. Second, interaction with the team after the meeting. And third, interaction with the customer. And after all this stuff, at the end of the day or between the day when you have time, you can work on your individual tasks like preparing stories or let's say preparing mockups or wireframes with the help of tool. So this is how like the day-to-day activity for me works in particular agile environment on the current project.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Swapnil. Dinap, would you like to go with the answer?
Yep. So I'm pretty much following the same pattern as Swapnil does. My day begins with so I'm handling 2 different agile teams for different modules. So my day typically begins with a couple of stand-up calls and project related meetings as to where I am supposed to answer the queries which the development team is probably envisioning, or there's probably a scope change. Then I am rest of my day basically goes into handling different queries or different meetings, and I'm also responsible for creating design documents which are being used for different requirements. Those particular design documents are also broken down into user stories by me. And towards the in the morning, generally I have a couple of calls with the customers. It may or may not be a daily call, but yes, on and off I have a call as to or their mails to be looked at in the day. And towards the end of the day, it's I just try and sit with the different scrum masters of respective teams and understand that what was the progress of the day, where the sprint is heading, and have a feel of the current sprint. So that's
Okay.
the typical day.
Okay. Just as a related question, typically in your organization, is it so that a scrum master is also kind of a alias for a project manager?
In
Or
my
other?
current organization, yeah, I got your question.
Yeah. Okay.
So, in my current organization, a Scrum Master is only a facilitator, and he's only supposed to ensure that the Scrum practices or the Scrum ceremonies are being adhered to. Any showstoppers or any impediments which the team is currently facing towards the progress of the sprint the Scrum Master is also responsible. There is no direct reporting of the team members to the Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master is also working on developing the requirements. So basically, in typically a 9-hour working day and a 8-hour effort. So 4 hours of the Scrum Master is going towards the development work, and 4 hours in a day is going towards different meetings and team management tasks.
Okay. So basically,
So
it's a like a
Mhm.
dual role, but more
Yes.
side on a development work and remaining part as a scrum
Yes.
master.
Yes.
Yes, Swapnil, how is the state in your project right now?
Yeah, I'm in line with Dinap. Only a few things I would like to add. Like if you see pure agile role, there is no role of a separate project manager. But however, in our Indian industry, if you see the practical projects, there is always a project manager, even if it's agile. And Scrum Master, we do have Scrum Master, but he is entirely, as Dinap said, is more focusing on the team. He will help them from a technical perspective. He will help them from any challenges they are facing. However, the team is going to continue to report to the PMs for any other things apart from the project related stuff. So if you see standard agile practices, PM is not required. However, if you see an Indian market or an industry, will always have a PM in agile project, and Scrum Master will always be there, but he will take care more on the efforts from the technical side and help team to proceed further in the project.
Okay, okay, that clarifies. Thanks. Now, the next thing is in terms of once you become a business analyst, in your views, because you have spent years in working as a business analyst, what do you see are the critical success factors to succeed as a business analyst?
Yeah. I will list few of them, though this area or the arena is big enough because we can measure business analysts on different factors, but just to share a couple of things. First, as I said in my initial starting period, that when you gradually go ahead with your BA experience, you need to first understand that whatever problem or opportunities you are looking at, you need to first look it from an enterprise level and then move out to a detail level. So first factor would be like you need to understand the big picture and then go into the smaller picture. So that's one factor. Second is how good is your rapport with stakeholders. So like communication with stakeholders, that is one of the key areas. So if person is not able to build a good rapport with stakeholders, doing stakeholder analysis or management will not treat him as a successful lead. That's the second one. Third is professional certifications are going on a high demand now in market. Many organizations, as I take interviews as an interview panel, in their JD, it's specifically mentioned that certified peer are more preferred compared to that. So it's always an advantage that you prove yourself in the international market as a third thing. And fourth is how skilled you are working with BA tools, what kind of different tools or techniques you can use to do elicitation, at the same time documentation and presenting your views that you have understood. And finally, not the least, how good you are interacting with your team. So you should not be having a big attitude. Just say, okay, I have documented. This is what you need to do. You need to have soft skills and you need to have good relation within your team, whether it's a dev or QA, anything. So these are like a couple of factors I think can be considered for a successful BA.
Okay, that's quite useful actually. Yeah, Dinaf, what do you think?
So, according to me, I think the first and foremost success factor for business analyst that he should focus entirely on bringing the customer value. I think once the business analyst and the customer are on the same page, then only they can understand as to how they can bring in more value, which will bring in more revenue to the customer. So a business analyst is also supposed to have some really great interpersonal skills and build a good relationship and a rapport with the client. The client needs to see the business analyst as the man on the ground, that this is my go-to guy for anything, and he's the guy who is responsible for understanding my requirements and understanding how we are going to go about it. Another important factor which I think is that you should know when to ask the right questions at the right time. The question should be very clear. One should never hesitate to actually ask the questions. The communication should be very clear and effective. A business analyst, although a business analyst is required to be diplomatic in terms of when he's trying to negotiate, but I think in my experience, I have mostly realized that honesty plays a huge role. So you should never try and take the client for a ride. You should try and be honest. You should also raise flags as and when required to the client without any hesitation, and always be proactive and keep the client in loop. I think the client rules. The customer is king, and I think if the client is in loop and he is aware of most of the situations, then that really does the trick in building relationships and taking its course over the project life cycle.
Right. So basically, you people have touched upon the most important factors actually, and that summarizes almost everything, which I also feel are basically the success factors for business analysts, because they are in a very delicate role of balancing the communication with the customer as well as the technology. So it's important, and they have to manage the balance between these two without being seen as siding with one side. Right?
Yes.
You have to win the trust of both the sides. That's very important, and you cannot do that without being honest and transparent. Okay, so before we move on to the presentation by Swapnil, I think there was one question from Srinivas. Yes, Srinivas.
Yes, thanks all. So my question is, if you say business analyst in agile methodology, we can see these IPMs and stand-up meetings, Scrum calls, each and everything. It is a common thing. But whenever we are going to analyze the business, it might be a gap analysis, it might be a sentimental analysis, and probably if you say business analyst, he will have good interaction, and he should have good interaction with the client as well as the employees who are working. And story groomings and all things will be continuously happening. Apart from this, and if you are going to do either a sentimental analysis or else a gap analysis or else to do some other operations, what are the things that you will take care of? And how you will start the analysis and how will you identify and what will be the best way?
Who would like to try?
So I think,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
I think,
Dina, please.
I think most of the activities have been already defined by Srinivas, what a business analyst does. As far as a comparative analysis or a sentimental analysis is concerned, I think a gap analysis for beginning any particular analysis, I think a lot of research and a lot of client interaction needs to go into first, and a lot of effort is spent in understanding the client's business and the client's requirements. So unless and until you have done your homework before talking to a client, you will never be able to ask the right questions. Also, once you are able to understand that what exactly the clients wants, you can uh, try and investigate or try and do some research on the similar products which are out there, probably some best business practices which the client is missing out on his in his particular business, and try and build the product, try and create the requirements in such a way that you can already incorporate the existing best business practices which are out there, and go about it.
Srinivas, do you have any follow-up questions, or anybody else has any questions?
Yes, so my question is, yes, obviously there should be good rapport between because I worked in agile methodology for almost 2 or 3 years. I know these IPMs and retro meetings and calls with the clients and as well as the teams. So these all things we know, and I just go into something more into depth. Just I personally I just want to know, is there any need of any technical skill to become a business analyst? Of course, I am having a technical skill, but for even for the remaining, it might be some useful question. First thing, and second thing is, if you say analysis, there should be some use cases. That means, just can you explain with an example and how you will start the analysis if you say sentimental analysis, and what are the things that you will take care of? Will you treat end user, I mean consumer, as part of the business, or else you will treat business stakeholders? So whom you will take care of?
To answer the first question, I think as part of your first question was how will you actually research, or sorry, your first question was what are the technical skills which are required for a business analyst, right? So
Yes.
in terms of, so the business analyst should be able to understand, have a technical skill set to understand what is actually what actually the client wants, and how can it be converted from a technical standpoint. So unless and until you have the technical know-how, you will never be able to convert the requirements which the technical team can understand. Although in terms of agile, you are supposed to write user stories which are more or less functional and not write any technical details, but it always helps to have an understanding of how a particular language works, and what are the advantages, how a particular screen can actually behave. For example, HTML5 gives you the flexibility of making responsive designs, right? So having that particular information with you will always help you in explaining to the client and convincing him that this particular scheme will also work in a similar fashion on an iPad like it is working on your laptop. Having said that, when it comes to an analysis, I think there are a lot of methodologies out there. You can uh, once you understand what the client wants, you can start by researching. You can also create questionnaires, create surveys for the client. It can be those particular surveys can be answered by the list of stakeholders, or probably the client can help you by sending those surveys to the existing employees or probably people involved in the organization. And based on those surveys, you can start interacting with the stakeholders and understanding of the actual problem which the client wants to be solved.
Yeah, thanks, Dinav. So you mean that so if you say a business analyst, it's purely it depends upon the particular respective technical skill, and as well as the interaction between you and a client, and as well as your employees. The coordination, if it is very good, and then you can easily build up an application without any gap in the stories, or to take stories to move forward to the next point. So this will be, everything will go fine, and completely depends upon your respective technology to get the requirements which can be done, which cannot be done, and as well as uh, the coordination between the teams. Am I right?
Yes, yes, that's right.
Thanks, Dinav.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just want to add one thing, Srivasu. So as you said, how do we can do analysis? The one of the thing which you can use in your analysis is when you are interacting with customer, everything as Dinap said is well and good. So in addition to that, what you could do to just make it clarify, you can just use simple technique like mind mapping. So in mind map, what you do, you just start with a scenario, put one scenario in center, and then start asking question like who is the potential user of this scenario, what is required and why it is required. So if you give a pictorial representation of just small diagrams, mind map is a very simple technique that will help you to understand, and that will clarify your external stakeholder as well as your internal team members.
Thanks, Swapnil.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi guys, this is Swati, and I have a question that a business analyst should be a domain-centric person, or because I have worked as a business analyst with different projects related to e-commerce or travel, but now I'm worried whether I should have stuck to a one domain, or is it better to stuck to a one domain, or I can apply for all the domains and all. So my question is specific, whether a business analyst should be a domain-centric person, or I'm working in a different domain and I can go and spread my hand to another domain also.
I would like to answer this question. See, every both the aspects have its own advantages and disadvantages. So initially, when I started off, the business analyst was somebody who is supposed to, who was supposed to focus only on the requirement gathering. But eventually, as the IT industry is progressing, I think a person who is more domain centric is uh, gaining more advantage in terms of better compensations, in terms of better visibility in the organization as well. But yes, if you have had a diversified experience in working for different industries, I think that makes you much more knowledgeable and much more flexible in getting hired. But you will be in a position to be more advantage. You will be in a position to be more lucrative for the organization, which is service based, not a product based company. Because a service based organization will have projects for different domains. A product based company will have projects for only one particular domain, right? So there you can progress as a subject matter expert or as a consultant eventually, right? But as a business analyst, having experience of diversified domains, you will be more beneficial to a service based organization rather than a product based organization. So every aspect has benefits and disadvantages.
Yeah,
Okay, so as a business analyst, I'm grooming as a business analyst. So what could be the career path I can look forward if I stuck to a particular domain?
I think you can end up as a consultant for a particular domain. You can become a subject matter expert. You can become a product manager. That's the eventual goal. You can also become a project manager for a particular domain. You can start handling multiple projects for a particular client, and I think that's the eventual growth path for any business analyst to start off. Eventually becoming a consultant or a subject matter expert for any particular domain, I think that's a really big thing, because you will be handling a team of business analysts and just explaining the requirements to them. So I think eventually that's the aim you should go for.
Okay. Thank you.
all right. Any other questions before we move on?
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Tanya, and I have been working in IT industry for 2.5 years. So I worked in a technical support project, and right now I'm looking for a BA role because I feel that it is my cup of tea. So right now I find it very difficult to switch to the domain, maybe because of the project constraints that are there in my company. Or if I look to the outside roles as well, I have done just one foundation training certification and a couple of trainings in my companies as well, where we have the online training platform. So what is that specific thing I am not getting, which is not allowing me to get into the market? Maybe it's just my resume, or is it something else? Because first I should get a call and then I can be presentable to other companies. So what is that basic thing if we are trying to switch from a different domain completely into BA and we say that we have this much years of experience? Is it some criteria that people look for?
You said you are in you are in technical support right now, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So before, I think Dinap is possibly the best person to answer this, but just to tell you one aspect, yes, resume is the first thing which an employer looks at. Okay. And if your resume is not indicative of the work which is, or the skills which you are demonstrating, which is suitable for even an entry-level business analyst, getting a call will be difficult. How will somebody know that you are either capable of performing as an entry-level business analyst? So that's something which is obviously an important part. Dinap, you can then take over now.
I absolutely agree. I think resume is the first and foremost thing. Plus, I think when you are starting off as probably a technical support person or a software engineer, I think it's very difficult to make the transition, because your experience or your resume talks about something else, and you want to do something else with your career. So to switch between job profiles, it's a tough task. But I think doing certifications along the way, and doing different sort of trainings and adding them to your resume definitely brings in much more value. And also to the prospective employer, it shows that you are serious in pursuing this particular career path. What generally happens is that most of the times what I've seen is people are not actually clear that this is what they want to do after 2 years, or this is what they want to do. So currently, like for example, after 2.5 years you are thinking of becoming a business analyst, right? That's good for you, but probably somebody else is thinking of doing something else altogether. But from a employer perspective, I would definitely hire somebody who has done a couple of certifications, just for me to be sure that okay, this guy is serious. What if I hire you as a business analyst, as an entry level business analyst, and things don't work out and you want to go back to your old profile? I cannot take
Yeah.
that risk, right?
Yes, yes.
So I think that's the kind of weight which certifications bring to your resume, and I think they should do the trick definitely in getting you more calls.
Okay, so I just want to add one more question here. What are the other certifications that we as an entry-level business analyst can do apart from the IBS certification, the foundation level training? Apart from that,
So I think Abhishek is the best person to answer that.
No, I think Swapnil has already included in his presentation. Just wait for that
Okay.
presentation. Swapnil is going
Okay.
to have it in.
thank you.
Yeah, one small question, Dinav and Swapnil. We are talking about business analyst or very specific to a domain and remaining stuff. But my question is it in any other models? Like we can see iteration, waterfall, V models, or multiple different companies are following different methodologies. And moreover, we are talking about agile methodology for a position of business analyst. So, is there any chance we can see business analyst position in any other models like agile?
So I'm not Srinaval, that's a good question, but I'm just wondering because me and Swapnil both explained that we are working in agile methodology and are working as business analysts. So as you can see that even agile methodology has also started encouraging to have business analysts to take some load off the client or the product manager. And yes, all the methodologies most some of the companies do not realize the advantage of actually gathering the correct and clear requirements, because I think about 80% projects fail due to incorrect requirements. So a business analyst is really an important profile for capturing those particular requirements and documenting them in a precise manner. But yes, a business analyst is nowadays a business analyst has a lot of options in all the organizations, because the companies have started realizing the importance of having a business analyst on board. So it
Yes,
is
because I worked even I worked in agile methodology. I saw business analysts in agile methodology only. When I shifted my
Mhm,
organization,
mhm,
these people are following different methodologies like V model, iteration, waterfall. But I was not able to see any business analyst in my current organization, and
mhm.
I got surprised. Whether is there any other methodology that are encouraging any business analyst or not? Is there any is agile methodology only specific for that? That's what
I
my
think I think it's the other way around. Agile methodology doesn't give too much leverage to having a business analyst on board, because it is the product owner only who does most of the things. It is just the so a business analyst is mostly helping a product owner in agile methodology. A business analyst is really an important person in a waterfall model, because, as I mentioned earlier, the SRS document or the BRD documents which a business analyst creates in a waterfall model are really they act as a bible for the development team, for the testing team, and that particular document is actually followed all through the life cycle of the project. Even for a V model, I think a business analyst is really very important. And it is just it is just unfortunate that the organization you work with did not have a business analyst, because waterfall model, a business analyst is really a very important person for any particular, for the success of any particular project.
Yeah, thank you. Because that's what my surprise is. When I worked
Mhm.
in previous agile methodology, I have product owners, I have scrum calls, daily evening stand up, daily morning stand ups. This how you will calculate the velocity of an employee, each and everything. What are the things that you are discussing? The same things we followed in agile methodology, but when I shifted to another model, I was not able to see any business analyst positions.
Mhm.
So that's why I got surprised, and I just
Mhm.
want to know from you.
It's not an industry trend, it's just specific to the particular organization.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So should we move on to the next section of the workshop? I guess there are no more questions. Yes, Swapnil, you can. I'll stop sharing my screen. All right.
Okay.
Then you can share yours.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. This is Shraddha. Actually, I have one question. Uh, as all of we know that project management office is a role that is there in project. A particular resource is assigned a role of project management office in a project. So, do business analyst and project management office consultants or resource have the same work, or do they differ in their uh, task and responsibilities which they carry out? So do we have any dependency along with any relation in between these two roles, something like that? Because as I know, because I have 5.7 years of experience into IT MNC, and I worked as a project management resource along with business analyst. So there what I understood was my role was most of the time similar, though I was given a different title for two projects. One was the business analyst, another was the project management office. But yes, what I understood, my role and responsibilities were almost same. So I think that there is a dependency or relationship link between both these roles. So can you please help me in understanding whether it is like this only, or it is some way, some other way around?
So,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
yep. So, Shraddha, the project management office is only responsible for making sure that the project is on track, all the timelines are
Okay.
met, all the milestones are being achieved, and
Mm-hmm.
communicating this particular information. So there are different stakeholder councils and defined project meeting schedules where the
Correct.
stakeholders are updated for a project
Mm-hmm.
meeting. So the PMO is supposed to create presentations and
Keep track of
show the
all that.
different statuses of the project milestones, you know, green, amber,
Okay.
or red, right?
Red. Red. Yeah.
Yes. So you are supposed to, from a PMO perspective, you are supposed to show the status and the health of the project. From a business
Okay.
analyst perspective, the business analyst is not supposed to raise any flags in terms of a health of a project. He is only
Okay.
supposed to focus entirely on the requirement gathering activities,
Mm-hmm.
client interactions, and gathering those particular requirements, converting them into different documents, creating prototypes, creating wireframes. So these are the core responsibilities of a business analyst. So they are
Okay.
not linked. Both the things are not linked as such. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
some organizations are misusing resources as such. So it is just
Okay.
like rather than hiring somebody as a business analyst, so they give you an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to work. But there is no linkage as such.
Okay, because in one of the interview, I was expected that as a PMO, if a person is doing a PMO role, then he or she should have a clear understanding of what the project is all about, how it is going forward. So that's what the curiosity I had in my mind, whether these two roles are interlinked or they are independent of each other. So that's
They
what
are
I
completely
need.
independent. They are completely
Okay.
independent of each other.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Swapnil, you can start.
Sure. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if you're able to view it.
Yeah. Yes, I can see it.
Okay, sure. So I'll be very quick because we are really running short of time. So let's move ahead with the agenda quickly. I had 4 points in my agenda. Who is a business analyst? What does a business analyst do? We'll not look into the first 2 points because we have already had a lot of discussion on this. And we'll directly move to like overview of business analyst career path, where I'll just like to let you know some information how a BA path looks like, and then we'll look at some certifications for a business analyst. Okay. So who is a business analyst? This is a standard definition. I have just underlined some keyword. person, any person, as we say, as a Dinap, and we both are saying any person who can understand a problem or an opportunity and recommend a solution could be a business analyst, irrespective of a designation. Okay? This is a standard definition. We'll not spend more time here. And there are certain points which I have listed, which are like a high level. These are what a business analyst do on a high level, but there are more detailed work that they perform just to understand from a higher perspective. They identify opportunity, they will interact with stakeholder, they will analyze requirements. Sometimes they prepare functional, but in addition to that, many organizations also love if you can prepare some technical recommendations or requirement. Okay, and then you interact with your internal team. If your role is expecting, you can do a functional testing on your system and also prepare some manuals or help in UAT when it or when your code moves to or when your product moves to the environment where users are going to test. Okay, so not focus on first 2 points. We have been doing a lot of discussion. We'll just move on to what we are looking at as a BA career. Many of you are already working as an BA. Some are looking for an entry position. So we have a standard diagram here. This is all suggested by an institute which is called as IIBA. This is nothing but International Institute of Business Analysis. So you can see there are 2 axes. When we see the vertical y-axis, it is your underlying competency. And when you come to your x-axis, that is the context of work. So gradually you start with the entry-level BA, then you move on to junior BA. In international market, this is called as intermediate BA, but if you see Indian market, they will call you business analyst. Every organization will have their own hierarchy, but there's a certain standard which many organizations will follow. So from a BA position, then we will move to senior BA, and then finally you may come up with a lead BA or a principal BA. In international market, it is called as advanced generalist BA. Okay, so to understand quickly, when the size of the circles is indicating what influence you have in your organization. So let's say someone who has started with a entry level BA, he may not have that level of influence because an entry level BA or a junior BA may not be interacting with senior management. Whereas if I say senior BA or a lead BA, these people along with the BA activities will also keep on interacting with higher management. So that's why we are saying the influence that you have on the management will be higher. Okay, and when you see the axis y-axis, this is the foundational level of a BA, and then you move on to the advanced level. Whereas when it comes to the work, context of the work, entry level or the junior BAs need to work at a lower level. When you say lower level, you'll be working at a details focus area will be more on documentation and minor levels of requirement gathering. When you gradually move to the next level, it will be like looking at a bigger picture, like you will be acting as a mentor. Just let me see, someone is trying to ping. Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, Swapnil, you are audible.
Okay, now I got some message that I'm not audible.
I think there's only Manish which is facing this particular issue.
Okay, okay.
Manish, you need to check your. Yes, everybody is able to hear. I think Manish needs to check his connection.
Okay. So shall I proceed?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I just want to spend a little time on this diagram so that you understand that as you gradually move ahead in your role, your influence at organization will increase. At the same time, you may or may not be focusing at the documentation level. You will be more acting as a mentor where you will help your team members to understand what is the overall scope, or you will guide people at the junior level. So you act as a team lead in this area. Okay, so in and all, if you see the hierarchy of BA, this is how the hierarchy of the BA will be, even if it is Indian industry. After you reach at this point or somewhere at intermediate point between your senior BA, you can move to different roles. If it is an agile, you can move on to like product owner roles if you're starting. So many people move to project management side. Many people move to product management if it's a product based industry. Okay. So I'll move on quickly. I hope we have this diagram. We can have question and session after all the slides are complete. It's hardly two more slides we need to go ahead. Okay. So when we say what is a business analyst career, we have three types of categories. I think someone asked what is whether I'm a generalist BA or whether I'm a specialist BA. So when we say BAs, we have first category of a BA who is a generalist BA who may or may not have any specific domain expertise. Okay. So these are the BAs who can work on any domain. At the same time, as Jinab said, this will be more specific when you work on a service industry. But when you're trying for a product-based industry, let's say you're targeting some specific domains, then you need to be in the second category, that is a specialist domain, where you are expert in one or two domains. Having expertise in all domains is really challenging and difficult, but you can have domain experience, like someone has very good experience in finance, or someone who is very good in healthcare or insurance. They can target those product-based industries where you can grow as an product management person, or you can always be part of PhD, which is called in industry as product strategic growth. Okay, so that's the career path when you move from that. And the third category is a hybrid BA, where you have a combination of generalist and specialist. You have an expertise in one domain. Also, I can be flexible to work in service industry. Okay, so these are the three main categories if you see from a BA's perspective. Okay. So I will quickly move on to the certification stage, or like what are the certifications for a BA, so you understand what a BA looks like. So before we start on the certification or understand what are these, I just like to mention one line that is pretty fruitful, that certification is your fastest route to get maybe someone who's looking for a good compensation, or someone who is looking to crack that market and change his profile. So increase opportunities and maybe get a good compensation in the market. Okay. So this certification, any type of certification related to business analyst, will be acting as an additional advantage in your resume. So today what we are going to look at is, we are going to look at one organization which is called as IIBA. This is worldwide recommended International Institute of Business Analysis, and this is the only best #1 certifying body who offers certification at different levels. So in industry, if you see job profiles, if they are looking for certification, you will see sometimes they are demanding IIBA certifications. Okay, so we'll quickly look at a simple chart, what types of certification you can go based on your requirement or based on your skills. So these are the three levels of certifications that are offered by an institute which is called as IIBA. IIBA is headquarters in Canada, and they conduct online examinations, and you can appear at any time based on certain requirements. So the first level, as we see the chart, there was an entry level BA. So for entry level BAs, we have a certification called as ECBA. That's why it is called Entry Certificate in Business Analysis. And what are the target audience? Any individuals who is entering the business analysis field. So he might be a graduate, he might be an experienced person from an IT or a non-IT person, but don't have any experience in business analysis. That's why if you see the eligibility, you say there is no BA experience required. So the eligibility for this type of certification is, it's not mandatory to have any kind of business analysis experience in your career. So you can move from any skill sets that you have and go for this certification. Only one thing which you require is you need to go through a 21 hours of BA training. So that will add as a certificate that, okay, you have gone an authorized training, and that is offered by IIBA. Okay. When you come to the examination, so after completing this training, you need to appear for an examination. That is just 1 hour exam, and you will have 50 multi-choice question. It is similar to if you have attended some sort of like entry exams for your degree examination. It will be just multi-choice exams based on your business analysis. So whatever you have been taught in this training, you'll have similar questions within this examination, and it's going to be an online exam. So the examination fee will be $170. That's going to be offered by the IIBA, so that you need to pay directly to IIBA. And if you're going through training, which is conducted by Techcanvass, is going to cost you approximately $15,500. That's like, you can always get in touch with Abhishek to get all the details. So just for your information, I have included this thing. So that's the level 1 certification. Now, when you come to level 2, it is CCBA. It is certification of capability in business analysis, where the target audience are already people who are in business analysis professional, and you have 2 to 3 years of experience doing business analysis. Okay. When you have come to eligibility, you need to have at least 3,750 hours of work experience. This is a total work experience, not a BA. But when it comes to BA, you should have at least 900 hours of business analysis experience in any of the KA. When I say KA, this is specific to IIBA. This is knowledge areas. So when we say knowledge area, it is like your stakeholder analysis, requirement elicitation. These are different knowledge areas that you will come to know if you attend any of these trainings. Okay. Examination will be 3 hours with 130 questions as multi-choice, and your fees will be $450, and training cost is somewhere approximately around 17,000. Okay. And the next level of certification is your CBAP. This is more often like for senior business analysts who are working in BA profiles for, let's say, more than 5 years. That's why we say over and above 5 years. You require at least 7,500 hours of experience in BA, where it's total experience, out of which 900 hours you require in at least 4 knowledge areas. So like you have solution assessment, requirement analysis, stakeholder analysis, business analysis and planning. Okay. For that, you need to go through 35 hours of BA training, and you'll require 2 references who can at least give you as a proof that this person has been working as a BA. Examination will be a little bit lengthy. You will have 3.5 hours of examination. Questions are less. It will be 120, but in this case, you will have case studies because you are targeting a senior business analyst. So you will have case studies in case of level 3. Cost is almost the same like level 2, 450. And the training time, as you are going for more hours of training, it will be somewhere around 19,000 in addition to your taxes and all that. Okay. So this is all about the certification. You can go, and definitely I will say, with my personal experience, I have been taking interview at multiple levels for our domestic and international clients. And nowadays, at many job descriptions, you will see if you have CCBA certification, it will have an additional advantage. Or many employers will say if you have ECBA or CCBA, that's mandatory certification. So that's an advantage for you if you're having business analyst experience with or without knowledge. Certification will give you an advantage when you're going to apply in the market and someone is competing with you at the same level. Okay. So that's all what I have from my side. If you have any questions, we can discuss, or we can move ahead with Abhishek. We can take on some other topics.
Hi, Swapnil. This is Rakesh.
Yeah.
Actually, I just wanted to understand whether we need to go in incremental path for the certifications, or I can directly jump onto the intermediate level and then give the certification.
No, there is no mandatory requirement that you clear level 1, level 2, level 3. If you are fitting in the eligible criteria for any of the level, you can directly apply to that level.
Oh yeah, that means the certificating agency will check our experience in the domain as a business analyst. Okay.
So there is no interview base. It's like when you go for, let's say you are a BA with 2 to 4 years or 2 to 3 years experience, and you're targeting level 2. So when you are filling the application form, we need to give justification on what projects you have worked and how much percentage of business analysis work you have done. Based on that, they will define your eligibility criteria, and they will send you an email that you are eligible for this application.
Okay, I mean for a person like a normal software engineer to come into this path, I believe with the current trend, I mean we need to go through that entry level first and then.
Yes. So if you really haven't done anything on the business analysis, you can start with the entry level, and after spending a couple of years, you can move on to level 3 or level 2. It's not mandatory that you complete level 1 and it's you're required to do level 2 and 3 also. It's not mandatory. Any certification will add value for you, but you should meet the eligibility criteria. So I have seen like one of few of my students, they were working as a subject matter expert in insurance domain. However, they didn't have any business analyst as a designation, but they had performed business analysis in their current role as part of subject matter. So they had applied directly to level 2 and level 3. So when it comes to this certification, IIBA is not expecting that your current designation should be a BA. If you are able to project that you have done business analysis work, let's say you, even though you are a developer, but you have done business analysis in terms of like analyzing what is the scope of this system, or what best solution could be. I have done some sort of interaction with customers. So that also will add value for your eligibility.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? I think Srinivas has raised a hand. Yes.
Can I ask a question, or is anybody else asking?
Yeah, sure. You can go ahead.
Okay, so you mentioned the level 1 entry certification. I have done the first entry level certification, that's the foundation certification from IIBA. So do I need to focus on the entry level for this ECE also? Is it not mandatory at this point?
It's not mandatory. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's not mandatory unless and until you are applying for a position somewhere they are explicitly demanding for CCBA. However, if you are looking for certain organizations who are recommending only IIBA, because this has been the number one in body certifying body, and people are more looking for IIBA certified BAs. If that's the mandatory requirement, then only you need to go for CCBA.
Okay, and I wanted a little depth knowledge for the knowledge areas, like you mentioned, for every kind of certification they ask you for 4K or 5 or 9K. So can you just elaborate on this part?
Yeah, so these are already predefined. So if you look at IIBA certification, they will focus on 6 knowledge areas. They are already working as a guideline. So when you go through these trainings, in these trainings, you will be taken through all these knowledge area with some examples. So that will help you to understand what are the knowledge areas. So for example, if someone says elicitation or maybe strategy analysis is one knowledge area. So in that, they will help you understand, how do you start with this knowledge area, what activities you can do within a project. When it comes to stakeholder management or requirement elicitation, what techniques you could use, though all may not be applicable in your project, but they will give you a guideline for that. So whenever someone says about knowledge area, it is nothing but many of these activities you have been doing in your day-to-day tasks, but we are not aware of the terminologies that these standards organizations are using. I hope that answers your question, or anything you want to know.
Yeah, one doubt just popped in my mind. So it's like the certifying body will check the knowledge areas that we have worked in, or will they impart us the knowledge during the training?
No, see, there are two different aspects. When we say knowledge area, the training will focus only on understanding what a different knowledge area. They will just give you knowledge. But when you go as an applicant, as I said, there's an exam fee. So that's a combination of your application and exam fee. You need to fill an application form that will decide your eligibility. So in that application form, you need to explicitly mention your project details. So let's say I have worked on 3 different projects. So what is the duration of the project and how many hours I have spent as an BA. And in that you will have specific distribution of knowledge. So the application form itself by IIBA is so simple that they will help you to segregate your work. So let's say you have worked on a technical support, or let's say you have worked on the e-commerce domain where you have done some sort of business analysis. Then you put only 10% of your activities, or you just list down 4 or 5 tasks that you have done. Based on that, your eligibility will be calculated.
Okay. So we have to be very clear about the
yes
jargons and the work that we have actually done, so that we can crack the exam and post it.
Correct. So let's say the way we do is we help candidates fill those forms, and when you are filling those forms, you need to mention only those activities that you have done as a business analyst. Apart from business analysis, if you have done any support activities, we will not mention those in the application, because IIBA is not expecting those to be entered on those forms. Those are not relevant for our profile.
Hey, Srinivaslu here. I have a question here. So, if suppose I work as a developer in Agile practice for 3 or 4 years, so I don't have any experience as business analyst, but I know what are the things that can be done in Agile practice or any other model as a business analyst, and what are the things that product owner can handle, and what are the things that business analyst can handle. But personally, I never worked as a business analyst. As a developer, I participated in all methodologies, and I know how storage will be created and grooming will happen, everything. So, can I go ahead for the level two? I mean, I know the practices which can be done as a business analyst, and what are the things that can be taken care. So, can I go ahead for the second level and certification by taking out the level one?
Yes. So for in your case, let's say if you have worked as a developer, though you are aware of all the knowledge areas, maybe the activities that the BA do, but from IIBS perspective, if you have done or if you are aware of specific tasks related to your project, that only is accountable in your business analyst. So let's say you have been doing development. So we know every developers, it's not only that they do coding, they need to do some analysis. So even if requirement is listed, they will be doing analysis on behalf of the stories or maybe FRDs that are prepared. So those chunks which you have done as part of your design analysis will be counted in terms of your hours that we say 900 hours is mandatory for a knowledge area, particular knowledge. So that we can present in the application and that it is counted, even though if you are not designated as a BA. But if you say I have been doing stakeholder analysis, that won't be justified because a developer will not be doing stakeholder analysis. Or you say I do business analysis planning. So that planning is specific to a BA activity. Got it?
Yes, but here, see, I involved in business required BRD, what we are talking about, and LLD, HLD, and I had interaction with the clients. I involved in sprint calls and story grooming, each and everything. But you say I don't have a designation called business analyst, and I never worked in that particular position.
Sure, that's
But,
okay.
yeah, the things that can be done because I am having 5 years of experience in IT, and even I did a lot of analysis on the things what are the applications we design. Well,
Correct. So
if we don't have a designation, if we don't have a designation called business analyst for 2 or 3 years, we show.
Correct.
Can't we say that I work as a business analyst and I can go for level two? That's my question.
No. So the reason is you can say I have worked on business analysis activity, but your job profile was developer. And as I said earlier, there is no mandatory requirement from IIBA to apply for any of these levels. Even if it is level 1, level 2, level 3, that you need to have a hardcore designation as business analyst. You could be a subject matter expert, you could be a developer, you could be someone from a project management side, or you could be someone from a non-IT background also. But you should understand what is business analysis, and you should have done these kind of activities somewhere in your project. Okay. So let's say
you're supposed to say that if you don't have any experience with a position business analyst, it's always better to go for a first level to get certified for the first level. If we don't have any experience as for that specific role as a business analyst, you're supposed to say that, right?
Correct. So if you haven't worked anything on business analysis, let's say I take an example of a candidate who has worked for 2 years in an IT industry, but you don't know anything about business analysis, then you need to go in level 1. However, if the same candidate has worked to some extent on business analysis, then you can go for level 2 if you are fitting into the criteria of 2 to 3 years of business analysis experience. So designation is nowhere mandatory in IIBA, even if you are working in any profile.
Yes, that's where my small confusion is, and I don't have my designation as business analyst, but I worked in those particular areas. What we are talking from initial phase of this session.
Correct.
So
if you remember, sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
If you remember, I just gave an example that in previous batches we had a candidate from insurance domain who was a subject matter expert. So he was not designated anywhere as a business analyst, but still he was able to apply for level 2 because in the projects that he presented to IIBA in the application, he was able to segregate clearly that this is what I have done business analyst, because he was interacting in an distribution channel from insurance domain, if you are a little bit aware. So in those distribution channels, he was interacting with stakeholders where he has done stakeholder analysis. He was able to understand what are the requirements. And that's how we presented him as an existing designation what he has. We didn't mention that he is a business analyst, but he has done business analysis task. The reason why I'm saying, if tomorrow you present yourself as a business analyst, it is always based on reference check. IIBA will always demand 2 reference check, and there is always an auditing done. So if you don't have a current designation as BA, we go as it is with your profile and present only your task as a business analyst, not analyst. There are 2 different things. So,
Yes.
so if you are willing to go with level 2 and you satisfy those eligibility, let's say you give me a list of 5 tasks that you have done. That is always with discussion with candidates. We list out all the projects, and then out of the project we segregate the tasks you have done. Let's say you attend grooming sessions. So how many grooming sessions you attend per day? Let's say 40 minutes. So we calculate the entire time span of 6 months or 4 months or 3 months project you have, and we come up with a business analyst time for grooming. So that way we'll project your profile as a person who knows business analyst, but not a designated person, and that is accepted by IIB.
Okay. So because why I am asking this stuff is, I worked for a product-based company which is from purely mortgage. So I worked in
Okay.
multiple areas like forward mortgage, reverse mortgage, and origination, each and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
as I mean, you will know how product-based companies will behave.
Correct.
They will allow every employee to know about the business and what each field and table will do. So, as coming from that type of culture, I came to know what the business is and what type of analysis we need to do whenever we are
Mm-hmm.
going through the things, and what are the consequences that can come. We have to estimate those all, and
Correct.
what are the stories that need to happen, and what is the time period, and how many stories that can be created for the particular sprint. Each and everything I involve, but the thing is, I never had that designation called business analyst. As you said, we can go ahead and say that analysis. Yes,
Yes.
there is a small thin line you segregated, right?
Yes. So that's why I
Yes.
see it's whenever you come to certification, most of candidates always have this confusion that I don't have a designation even as an entry level BA. How can I appear for this certification? So if you visit IIBA site, or I am already a certified business analyst, so that's why I'm always trying to give this information. Please remove that misconception from your mind that you need to be a designated BA or your designation needs to be a BA to appear for these certifications. No, it's clearly mentioned by IIBA, though this presentation I am not mentioning in detail. In the IIBA criteria and the handbooks that you have, you need to present yourself as any person who has done business analysis. So business analysis could be anything. It's a big domain, but it's not mandatory that you have a designation as BA to apply for this examination. Okay.
That's great answer, Swapnil. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else has any questions or queries?
Hello.
Yes.
This is Shraddha. I have just one last question. Do
Yes, Shraddha.
business analysts have the role in entire life cycle of the project, or do they are involved only during the beginning of the project, wherein requirements are to be taken from clients and they have to be freezed, and then they have to be documented in FRDs or BRDs, say like that? Or do they have their significance in entire life cycle of the project till the end the project gets over?
Okay. So give us to give you a simple answer. If you are working as a BA, it is throughout the entire project. Your contribution
Okay.
needs to be throughout the project. But when it comes to roles and responsibilities, there are certain area where you will be working as an individual contributor or with your team. So your requirement analysis or gathering or interacting with customer, that's the key area or key skills for it. Okay.
Okay.
But it does not implicitly say that once you do this requirement, prepare a document and let the team do anything. I'm not concerned. I will
Okay.
meet at the end of the project deadline and ask you where is the product. BA role needs
Okay.
to be from the start when you kick off your project till the end your product is released to customer, and even some extent when there are production issues if
Production
there
and
are related
post
to
project issues.
functionality. Correct. So
Okay.
there is always if you go with product based companies you will always have post deployment supports also.
Yeah.
You have a
Correct.
support team and
Production
you
support
also
team.
need to come into the picture when there is some
Hmm.
functional queries like this is not working. Whereas in service based it will be mostly based on like releases, so you
Mm-hmm.
have a very small time span. You start with first week and your release cycle might be 2 weeks, your sprint will be 2 weeks each, so release might be for 4 weeks. So you are very aggressive in those methodologies, whereas in waterfall it will be like a slow paced environment, like a tortoise. You
Yeah.
prepare
Right.
BRDs or functional specification, then you review test cases, you inform your dev team, and there is some idle time you may be allocated to some other project, or you just keep on interacting. And finally, after a couple of months, you get a main release. Then you perform functional testing or let's say comfort testing. Okay,
Okay.
but your contribution is throughout the life cycle.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have one question. Is there any certification for a particular domain we are trying to
Mm-hmm.
target? Like suppose if we do not want to be a very general TA and we want to be a specialist TA. So suppose I
Mm-hmm.
start working in a finance domain and I want to gather more knowledge about it, not only
Mm-hmm.
as a TA but specifically on the domain. So do these domain certifications or trainings do help us in improving our knowledge? Or are they
The
supposed to be?
Yes, these domains will help you improve knowledge from a domain's perspective, may not be from a BS perspective. Let's say if you're targeting finance or insurance or maybe healthcare, I'm pretty not sure of the certifying bodies, but definitely there are institutes in industry who will offer domain knowledge and they will teach you. Let's say you are working in share market or derivatives. So these people will help you understand those processes, and they will also offer certification that will add weightage to your profile from a domain's perspective.
And as a BA, is there any requirement that we need to work on certain things? Because when I see some requirements coming up for the roles of BA, they always
Mm-hmm.
mention like we should have a knowledge for the SQL, MS Visio, or work on certain other tools and like SAS and other basic requirements which I'm not really aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a BA, I know we need to be aware of the technical terms so that we can basically give the best of the inputs between the development team and the stakeholders. But
Mm-hmm.
how does it really like work on the knowledge of
See,
various tools and the other
mhm.
things?
Yeah, see, it's basically as we saw the graph, you start with an entry and then move on to an advanced level. So, in the industry with the challenges today we have and the dynamic environment nowadays, it's expected that as we gradually go ahead or proceed with our roles, we should have awareness of these technical aspects also. As if you remember, Dinam also shared these details during our earlier discussions, because this will help to reduce the dependency. So let's say you are already in a stakeholder meeting where other team members are not available, and you are addressing a C-level meeting where your top-notch management people are sitting along with your good stakeholders. And if they ask you some feasibility questions and we are not able to answer them, then we are really in trouble. But when I say this, it's not mandatory that you need to have all these skills at the first instance. This is where your career is going to evolve. You need to evolve as you move ahead in this career. I have seen many business analysts who have 7+5+ years of experience, but still they are in the traditional approach. Just prepare document and just that's what my work is done. So it's what I will say, individual responsibility. No one is going to teach anyone that. As we progress ahead, it's always good how many feathers you have in your hat. So it's like all about learning. You should never stop learning. And one simple suggestion: don't feel shy to take guidance from anyone. I've seen many BAs have big attitude when they gradually go, and they will not take guidance from many people. But this guidance or learning is going to help you increase your knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Swapnil,
Yeah.
another question from me, Rakesh. Yeah,
Yeah.
recently one of my friends got a
Mm-hmm.
position of business technology analyst. So,
Mm-hmm.
is that a kind of a techno-functional role the employer is looking at, or
Yes. So you will many times see business analyst in bracket. They will say technical system, or they will ask for system analyst, or they will say technical lead. Now, in those roles, apart from your day-to-day business analyst, they are also expecting you to understand a few things from your technical side. Let's say what could be the best technology I need to use for this particular domain. Okay, so it could be, let's say, if you are starting with a what I'll say, greenfield project where there's nothing predefined, there you may be required to suggest whether Java will be best or .NET will be best. However, if you are coming into a project where it's already started, then you can suggest or the role is expecting that what are the best technologies or the tools you can use. So nowadays, earlier people used to deploy all the builds on customer environment manually. Nowadays, DevOps is gaining more importance. Your automation from the QA side is getting more importance. So from a BS perspective, they are expecting that some or the other percentage, if he or she is able to contribute, that makes an additional advantage.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Swapnil. Nina there.
Yeah.
Swapnil, actually, currently I'm pursuing MBA in marketing, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
quite interested in business analyst course. So
Okay.
for now, also I've been trained in business intelligence domain.
Mm-hmm.
So was it helpful to become an BA, like by doing in marketing and going ahead in a BA, like BA field, BA
Mm-hmm.
domain? So what should I do? Like anything other courses or some domain field knowledge will be required to do BA?
No, so if you are looking for an entry level BA, first is certification will add value to you because you already are doing MBA, so that your post graduation is saying that you have some knowledge of your management concepts. At the same time, if you are very keen in working only in marketing side, but with a BA profile, then you can go in a pre-sales consultant role or a pre-sales BA. There are also pre-sales BA which will focus more on understanding the client requirement in the initial stage. Okay,
Okay,
so
but the
for you to,
pre-sales,
yeah,
okay, yeah, the
yeah,
pre-sales are most probably in IT corporate, right? Like in corporate field. Like they used to
yes.
just create some proposals for the meetings, and the salesperson will handle the all the clients presentations and all.
No, it's the other way around. Like it depends on the organization. If it's a small organization or it's a big organization, it's depends on each individual organization how the roles are categorized. If you see a standard pre-sales BA, he or she is expected to analyze all the requirements and prepare a proposal and then present it to the customer. Because if I'm preparing something and someone else is presenting, that makes no sense. It won't be fruitful, and it is always a possibility that we commit something which is not possible within our limit. So standard pre-sales BA role is to analyze, document, and present. If you are not looking from a pre-sales perspective, then you can always look for an entry-level BA where you can start from small requirements or maybe and small projects if you get an opportunity.
Okay, okay, thanks.
So anyone else has any questions?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please. We can hear you.
Yeah, actually, what actually suppose so developers are turning into the BA, but if they are like uh, their perspectives, like means suppose they don't have even if you do the ECBA, then what is the like what are the chances? Like means developers they have the experience of developers, but there is a 0% experience in the domain of the business analyst. So how will the company consider them? Means like, and what will be the crucial means how will they get the platform? First of all, means they have the idea how to get the clients, but the companies don't allow. So even if you do the business analyst, business analyst course from your side in your because how placements you means will be offered like means yeah you will get surely get the job in this domain because most of developers are turning into BA from your side, but also into the testing also. It's not like that. But the thing is that the BA is means actually this ECBA and CCBA means what is like every time we don't need to upgrade. But the thing is that how much chances are there for like what the scope and in the point of view like internally like even if I do the testing course in this in your class and after 2 years after getting into the big company I can internally switch to the BA.
Yes, so switching to BA, see, in our industry, switching to any profiles is not any obstacle as far as I have the experience working with this industry. So even if it's a QA or SME or a developer, switching to BA is no problem. Many BAs move to PM's role also later. So as I said earlier, there is no restrictions or borderlines drawn to switch to BA roles at any stage, even if it's a 5 years experience or a 6 years experience or at any level. Okay, so that's one thumb rule applying to BA. Coming to your next question is, if we don't have any business analysis skills, and somebody asked the earlier question that how do I present myself in the industry? So to
Okay.
present yourself as a person who is aware of the BA concepts, you need to have this certification on your resume. So that will give you a advantage when you are getting shortlisted from a recruitment side. See, recruitment team, whether it's a small MNC or a small corporate, they will not spend time on going through every line in your resume. They'll just search
Yeah.
keywords the way I understand. So if I find any keyword which is related to business analyst, and that is also in my job description, your profile will be shortlisted. So this certification adds value because you are not working as a BA, but you are aware of the concept. So that gives them an idea that we are looking for an entry level BA. So entry level BA is always with a 0 years experience to 2 years experience, if at all it is required. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And then getting shortlisted or providing your skills. So let's say based on this you get shortlisted and you need to prove. So there is always a guidance like what skills they will ask, what type of questions you will be offered. However, it is always the individual skill how you are going to present. Okay.
Yeah.
So to
The
break, I will say this certification, any certification, I will not say it's only this certification, any kind of BA or business analysis certification for people who are entering or who want to project themselves interested in that area will help the recruiter or the corporate HRs to understand these people are eager to enter into this role and they have cleared this certification, so they have this knowledge. Now, when it comes to practical experience, they may ask you about some tools. Are you aware of, let's say, if you are working in Jira, you are working of Atlantis Jira, if you are working in Agile, if you go to Waterfall, are you working of these certain tools? You may or may not have used them, but you can say, I am aware of these things. So awareness is important at entry level BA. When you go to advanced level, you will be requested to have an expertise.
yes. But
I
what
think
kind of
yeah, just to add to what Swapnil said, I think doing a certification from a different profile also shows that you are serious in pursuing this as a career option. Because I have met a lot of people who want to become a business analyst, but they have not done any certifications, and they are still after 4 or 5 years they are stuck to the same profile. So it from an organization's, as I mentioned earlier, I think from an employer perspective, it also gives them a chance to understand that it is not wishful thinking, or this is not something which you just to want to probably give it a try and see how it goes. So you are pretty much clear on what you need, what you understand, and where you want your career to head towards. So I think that is another very important aspect in if you think from a certification point of view.
Yeah, and just one thing I would like to add, as Dinap also said, like it's also one misconception. I said let's remove that designation is not required for certification. And second misconception, many people say that my role is very difficult, dev is difficult, QA is difficult. I want to move into the BA role, which is very easy. These people
Yes.
just prepare document and sit idle for the entire day. I have seen many people. I really like to laugh out internally. I have seen 2 or 3 lead QS saying that, oh, BAs are not doing anything. But it's not so easy in any profile. All profiles are similar. Though a team may be working more from a dev or QA side, but when it comes to business analysis, you need to evolve your skills. So if you are going with that perception, my life is going to be easy and no challenges, then please don't keep that in your mind.
I think it is very difficult to actually convince a client on or try
Yes.
to explain that this cannot be this particular set of requirements cannot be delivered in a particular phase, or probably you need to tell the client that the way he is thinking, he or she is wrong. I think it is very difficult from a business analyst perspective, but these are the kind of skills which you tend to develop over a period of time. There was another question uh, which some girl probably asked about the domain certification. So domain certifications also help you understand about the domain, but I think probably for any particular domain, the best knowledge would always be the hands-on, or which is coming directly from the client, because the any particular domain certification will help you or probably give you a leverage for some over somebody who has not done a certification. But the best knowledge will only come when you actually are working in that particular domain. So even I have faced a similar situation, which Swapnil just mentioned, that people think that it is a very easy job. You just need to talk to the client, gather requirements, just document it, and life is easy for them. But it is not that easy as it sounds. It is a tough job to actually explain the requirements to the development team from a business perspective. So you have to keep on juggling between various hats. So at some point of the day, you have to wear the hat of a business person, and at some point of the day, you have to wear the hat of a technical person. So that bridge is it's very delicate to balance, and it's a tricky job.
So which is easy? Development is easy, testing is easy, or BA is easy?
No, see, when we say easy, now that is individual definition, right? So if I
Yeah.
say BA is easy because Dinap and I have that passion to work with that. So if I am thinking from that perspective, your life will be easy. Any one of you who are a participant. So someone
Yes.
says that, okay, I love testing, and I love to break the code. So that's your passion. It's not we are convincing you to become a BA. It's like if you are eager and you love that, okay, I am feeling very happy to interact with multiple people. Some people say I love traveling, so BA's role will offer you traveling at multiple locations, and they will offer you interacting with multiple people. Some will be high tempered, some will be low tempered, some are so passive they won't get converted also. So it is based on your passion. What is your likelihood area? So nothing is easy in this world, friend. Everything that we are doing is for bread and butter. So it's important in the industry that how smartly you present your skills and what is your interest area.
Yes, I completely agreed. Srinivas here. So you are talking about passion, and if you say passion is the difference between having a job and having a career. But see, for the people who are having a passion, because I am very interested to involve in the requirements gathering from the client, and as well as to explain the requirements to the team, and being a core part of a team in a project, because you will be getting all the requirements from complete business stakeholders, and you will give those requirements to the requirements what you give. It might be a BRD, it might be a LDD, it might be a HDD, whatever it is. So for the people like me who are very interested and passionate about the particular role. And do you suppose, is it really difficult?
No, definitely not. So looking at your interest and the level of curiosity you have, I will definitely say it will not be difficult for you. Only the thing is you need to be focused. See, as Dinap also said, and we are also saying, if you are really willing, it's not only passion, you need to have that interest level. Now, as you have already worked on multiple projects with some sort of business analysis activity, it will be easy for you to take on this role, and you need to maintain that. So after 3-4 years, I won't say, okay, I have got bored with all these documents. What is this? Yeah, daily we are doing same stuff. Okay, because you need to define your career path. And for every one of you has some of the other skills. Never underestimate yourself in the market. Everyone has the skill. Maybe you will not be able to click it at this instant. Maybe some other day. So just keep that positive approach with you.
Documentation part will be in every phase, not only in the business analyst phase, even in the testing phase, also in the development phase also. Most of developers say that they also do their documentation parts. So documentation part is in every phase, no? It's not only in the business analyst.
Yes, documentation. See, we are still relying on documentation. Like we are yet to move to an e-world where still we get on physical sign-offs, or maybe you get on sign-offs. So documentation will be on every phase or every part of the same. From a BS perspective, it will be a little bit more, not to that.
Yes.
Yes, but I would like to give one answer for this question. Very simple, and don't take me in wrong way. If you say the difference between the documentation, what you did as a developer or a testing or anything else, if you compare with a business analyst, these people, developers or testing people, will be documented whatever they already done. But business analyst will be doing the documentation what entire team needs to be done. That's where you need to be very careful, because I involved in I know about that. That's only the difference that you need to take care from business analysts and developers as well as.
Okay,
Because
Swapnil,
what are the documentations that analyst is going to provide, entire team need to be work on that. But developers, what are the documents that they created will be a route for the next developers who will come into that project. Correct me if I'm wrong.
hello.
This is
Swapnil,
absolutely
what I have come to know that the BA are the starting role of BA is to get the requirement, converting the client by giving some proposals and the documents, and that later on when the client is ready to give a project, they have to gather all the requirements and then sit in a room, like a meeting with a technical architect, project manager, then the finance manager, and then we have to discuss the project, right? And the BA role will end after the project gets successfully completed, or the BA part is only to gather the requirements and just to submit the all the requirement details to the team, to the internal team.
so. There are.
So
I think Swapnil has already answered this particular question. So let me try and answer it in a different manner. So there are two parts to being a business analyst, and there are two functions. One is the pre-sales and one is the post-sales. So the pre-sales person is supposed to gather the requirements, present a proposal to the client, and try and bring the project on board. A post-sales person is probably somebody where the project has already been sold. You have a high level understanding of what the project is all about, probably a high level understanding of what the domain is all about, but you don't actually know how the user journey will be, what will be the data flows, what kind of screens does he want, but you have a very, very high level idea that, okay, this is what the client wants. So there a business analyst will actually start interacting with the client and start preparing documentation, start creating wireframes and how the screen will look like. There are some business analysts which I know of, or probably even myself. I was also creating a lot of data flow diagrams and even defining database structures at one point in time in my career. So I think there is no specific definition as to what a business analyst will be doing. It only depends from organization to organization, and it also depends whether you are landing up in a pre-sales role or in a post-sales role. So it is totally dependent on organization to organization. There are some business analysts in some organizations which I am aware of who are doing coding in a BA role. So they are not doing any sort of documentation. They are very small firms. They just talk to the client, write the code, and get back to the client. There is no documentation at all. But they have also been given the designation of a business analyst. So there is no defined path, but yes, requirement gathering plays a very important role. Documentation, communication, interpersonal skills, all these things which we talked about earlier play a very important role. Uh, so you need to be clear. Pre-sales is also a very interesting profile. It has its own set of advantages. There is a certain incentive which is linked to selling on each and every project, and you might also get a lot of traveling opportunities, which Swapnil also mentioned a few minutes back. So it totally depends on the organization.
Okay. Okay. So there is any link between like the pre-sales and the post-sales, what like the whatever the gathered requirements are there that needs to be
Mhm.
for the like for example, if the client needs want to modify something, like modify some
Mhm.
requirements, then the pre-sales will connect to the post-sales or some other like our internal person will be
See,
there to handle the client like CDM types.
in case a client wants to change some set of requirements, then a business analyst is the person who will be the first point of contact in changing the scope of the project, or the business analyst then, depending on the methodology which is being followed, the business analyst will talk about those particular requirements with the project manager and make any amendments in the project schedule. uh, the project plan will definitely get changed, and obviously because the resource scheduling gets affected. Also, these particular changes in the project plan will then go back to the client, and the client needs to prioritize those particular requirements in such a manner that he defines that, okay, this particular phase will this particular set of requirements will go in phase 1 or phase 2, right? So that is where your negotiation skills come into play actually as a business analyst, because you also know, you are part of an organization, and you also know that these set of developers are available only till XYZ date, and this particular functionality needs to be completed by only these set of people. Since the learning curve is huge if a new set of team members come across. So these set of situations keep on arising day in and day out for any particular resource.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I think, Swapnil and Abhishek, I think we can probably take last couple of questions. We are about 50 minutes over the scheduled time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask now. I have a five. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go
Hello.
ahead, please.
Yeah, actually, I have 5 years of development experience in my career in the .NET technology. Now, most of the people who are turning into developers to the BA, most of the reason is that the most of the people are fed up of coding. Okay. uh, but now actually I have a good communication skills, but I'm still worried that actually I had a chat with the one the boss of the Techcanvass. He told that it's better if you go from developer to testing, and after 1 or 2 years if you feel in the big company that you are not interested, you can go to the BA also. BA for first year is very difficult, he told me. So actually means when you go to the big company, you come to know how the clients are being required. Side by side, the BA team is also there. So you can internally switch from that company. So I have 5 years of development experience. I am fed up of coding also, but not in the coding of in the terms of like the big higher upgradation technologies like MVC 5, MVC, JS Angular, everything. So actually, I was working in C Sharp.NET and ASP.NET and the mobile app, but not but to the bigger extent. The problem is that as a company was small, we were bringing the requirements from the client also, but it was not in the formal way. It was informal. Means we
Okay.
were bringing the format and we were only developing because as we were only the developers. Now that was the thing. But BA, as I have a good communication skills, I'm now a bit confused. I should go to the BA at this stage or the testing. Actually, that
I
is only
think
the big problem. And in the
I
point of
think to
salary point of view also.
I got your question. I think you should not think about going to a business analyst or a testing stage. You should actually follow. You should try and find your passion and do what you like. Because if you are doing something which is more lucrative and which you don't enjoy, what will you do after 5 years? For example, you've already spent 5 years in development, right? You probably land up a job as a business analyst or as a testing, but after another 5 years you are fed up of it, right? So you have 5 years of development, 5 years of testing, and at the end of 10 years you don't know what you want to do.
Yes,
So I
yes.
think this is, you need to take time out and probably analyze that what is your
No,
passion,
but
what you want to do.
yeah, it's not only about the passion, but about the headache also. You know that. So as compared to you, which phase has a more headache?
That will totally depend on the organization and the project. So this is completely dependent on the client, and a lot of other factors come into play also. So probably,
Yeah.
for example, you are into development, and probably in another couple of years you become a project manager and land up a project in Europe. But the client is really eating up your head, but you're still in Europe, right? So you might not like that, but there are a lot of people who want to do that. So that changes. There is a lot of factors which keep on changing in and out, right? So you need to be sure of what you want to do and where you want to take your career.
Yeah, but in development phase for becoming a manager, you should they will see that how much technology I know. So even if I know C Sharp.net and ASP.net and I don't know the MVC and everything, they said that how come this has a person has become a project manager of the in this particular project? I don't means I should be aware of the things. But in the case of suppose if I know the automation tool using the Selenium tool, or even if I'm in the after the certification, then the company will even if I become a lead or a project manager in that phase, at least company will not point out me or any other person, or they will not point out he doesn't knows anything. Means in this means
See,
as I
even if you
told,
know everything,
development is
even if you
fast.
know everything, even if you know everything, people will still say that you don't know anything.
Yes, yes, but the
That
development
is
is
going.
vast. Huh.
Yes, I think in the entire IT industry, you need to keep upgrading yourself and keep on learning. Even as a business analyst for a particular domain, there are a lot of rules and regulations which keep on changing by the governing body. So we need to keep ourselves updated. We also need to keep up with the certifications and keep on renewing the certifications as and when is required. I think for any particular development, any particular role in the IT industry, you need to do a lot of learning. Continuous learning is there, and a lot of certifications are there. So even for development, there are a lot of Microsoft certifications. Like MVC is the basic essential of any particular project nowadays,
Development, yeah.
right? So eventually, you just need to do one particular project in MVC, and you will know MVC, right? So
Yes, yes.
just to quote you an example, so it is not a big thing,
So,
but
but no, but
yes.
actually,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but actually, I just want to. I actually had a word with your with the boss of the Techcanvass. I don't know. Actually, I'm not getting his name. He told me that it's better if you go for the testing right now because
Mhm.
automation also has a development. Means yeah, but it will be not be as much as what it is in the development phase. Means once you do the scripting, then you just have to do it in the tool. But responsibilities and pressure, that is the other part that every depends upon the project. Means if one project has a pressure, then the developer has it, then the tester will also have, then BA will also have the pressure. Everyone will
Yes.
have the pressure in that project. But if that project
Yes.
doesn't has a pressure, then means all the three will taste that same. But the thing is that actually, according to your point of view, actually, the 5 years of development experience, actually, the thing is that which should I go now? Actually, I'm that much bit confused.
I
Like,
think the
but
I got
because
your
it's not
question. The
about the passion, it's also about the thing is about the work which is easy, hard, difficult, or something like that.
the best person to answer this question for you is you only.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
See, just one thing to add here, as we all are discussing that. See, as I said earlier, nothing is difficult and nothing is easy also. So,
Yes.
but if you are like not willing to go ahead with the development or the dev side because you have a lot of big tech stack every day need to be updated for your
Yes.
future
Yes.
profile. So tomorrow, if you
Yes.
become a solution architect, I am definitely expecting you know the latest technology, Angular JX 2.0 or anything that comes up tomorrow. So
Yeah.
regarding your choice for QA and BA, from our point of view, we'll just guide you that both are good profiles, but you need to
Yes.
segregate it. One profile is where you will be focusing only on the functional side from the project's perspective, analyzing those requirements and more interaction from the customer's point of view. Whereas second profile will still be the same. You will have some part of your technical skills that needs to be employed. So if you are working on Selenium, you need to have works on some automation script, and your scope in that area will be limited from the applications testing point of view. So that is these are two guidelines. So you need to decide whether I need to go ahead only with the automation and then take on again automation where you will have some technical things to be upgraded, or if even if you take BA role, then you need to be prepared that I need to upgrade every time from a functional side. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the two things.
Yeah.
Both roles are individually same and strong in their own way. One way you will require more technical knowledge for if you go from a automation side. From a BA's perspective, as Dinap said, if you're specifically working on domains, then you need to keep on upgrading those domains. So if you love to work on those domain side and you are ready, like anything comes from the insurance, so let's say regulations are changing, or if you go to banking, every day there is a change in the deposit schemes, everything. So if you feel that, okay, I can do that and I will learn it gradually, then you can opt for a BA role. But if you
Yeah.
think,
Domain.
okay, I need, yeah,
Yeah. Domain means I need to know the function of the module. Function
correct,
or module.
correct,
It's every each and every. Yeah.
yes,
And testing only the thing is that you have to take the forms, and for the each forms you don't need to understand, you just need to see, put the cases, test cases, as well as the automation, like we have to put in the automation tool. So these are the change differences. Means yeah, technical means coding also will be there. Yeah, coding will be not be there. But here the thing is that good communication skills are required. Here communication skills are also required, but not at that much level in the testing, as per my knowledge.
yes,
And yeah, and my friend told, who is in the big company, he also told that most of QAs and they are actually must means it depends upon the project, but the QAs are enjoying as compared to the developers. QAs and the BA enjoying means they are not relaxed, not like कि सर पे पूरा 100% pressure रहेगा as compared to the developers.
But
See,
sorry to
that
disturb
totally
you
depends
guys.
from
Sorry to disturb you guys. One advice from my side, because you are discussing about a lot of things regarding you are thinking about to go to BA or QA or something, whatever the domain it is, or whatever the phase it is. But one small suggestion is, if you say QA, right now a lot of automation tools are emerging, and you don't know when companies will fire you. If suppose one automation tool is going to replace 100 employees, and you are not pretty sure where you will be. And if you say business analyst, you will be unique for the project. Companies won't try to replace you very simply because you are the person who will have knowledge on entire project, because all people will work with as part of your directions. You will be interacting with your client and vendor. So company will trust you because you build good rapport with your client, and they will they won't go ahead and check with their clients what my business analyst is doing, because they will be satisfied with your presentations and things. So you will be unique in the organization, and you will be most paid, I believe. And seriously, your position will be unique there. That's what I can suggest. Rather than going for automation where you're not pretty sure how what tool can come and replace you.
Okay, just to interrupt everyone, I think we're already quite late here. Okay, so we'll stop here right now. If you have any more questions, anyone, You can type in the chat window. Maybe we can answer it later. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Swapnil, Binab.